Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about strength training and the first step for you to take before embarking on a new workout. This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line. Okay, so I was chatting with a new client the other day, and we were going through all of the steps of what I take my new clients through when we're working on strength. Went through the strength assessment, and at the end, she was floored. She was like, nobody has ever taken me through anything like this before. No personal trainer, no running coach. They ask a few questions and call it a day and get me started on a strength routine. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. That's one way to do it. And it caught my attention. And I was like, okay, well, I should talk about this, because if this is the experience this person is having, she can't be the only one. So I was thinking about it even more, and another client of mine, we'll call her Sarah, I'll give you this example as to why you need to check your strength before embarking on a strength routine. And it's really because you don't know what muscles are actually weak unless you check them, unless you assess them in the beginning. Plus, assessing them in the beginning gives you a baseline. So 3 months from now, 6 months from now, heck, even 6 weeks from now, you can do a recheck and see where things have changed, especially for somebody who's injured or is prone to injuries, because the improvements are often pretty subtle. You know, if you look at heavy weightlifters, which I am not, but if you look at them, you might think, oh, well, 3 or 6 months from now, they can just see, oh, how much weight am I lifting? Like, how much weight am I deadlifting? How much weight am I squatting? But if you are injury prone or injured, you may not be A, doing those exercises, or B, you might not be changing the weight enough for it to be a big difference. You know, you could be working out at home. I like to work out at home. The heaviest dumbbells I have right now are 10 pounds. I have 2 of them. And could I buy some more dumbbells? Absolutely. But I'm not trying to make this massive gym. So, you know, if I buy more dumbbells, when does it end? And so a lot of people I work with, they're the same way. They work out at home. They want some equipment, maybe some dumbbells, some elastics, and then we figure out ways to make it more challenging and increase weight without having to buy more stuff. But so you can't always use that as the gauge of if something's improving. And like I said, for injury prone runners or somebody who is already injured, the improvements can be subtle. So you want to be able to find those subtleties and changes that way to show improvements, because otherwise you're doing strength exercises for 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. How do you even know it's working? Especially if your injury is still there. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, it's, you know, it just takes more time. Well, you should be noticing a difference in 6 weeks. You won't be cured in 6 weeks. Should you feel better? Yes. Should you feel differently? Yes. But you also need to be able to check that. And of course, I'm coming from the physical therapy background as opposed to running coach background, personal trainer first background, physical therapy background. It is ingrained in us for us to check, do, check, do, check, do constantly. I mean, I would do it within single sessions for some people, but definitely after 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. Haha, that's a funny joke because everybody knows physical therapy, your insurance cuts you off way before the 3 or the 6 month mark because it's fun like that. It's also the reason why I stopped taking insurance years ago in my physical therapy business. And now, I do all online, more the run coaching aspect from the physical therapy background, but that's a whole other story. I'm going on a tangent. So let's get back to it. So I want to give this example because I think it's relevant to a lot of the people that follow me. So I had a client, we'll call her Sarah. That's not her real name. She thought that she had weak knees when we first started working together. She had knee pain. Doctor said, well, your knees are weak. You need more exercises. So go work with somebody who can get you that. So I went through her list of exercises with her, and I went through a strength assessment with her, like I do with all of my clients. We go through exactly what exercises they've been doing. If they don't know the name of them, we figure out. Sometimes they just show me right on the call, and it's like, oh yeah, you're doing the, such and such a thing. And she had a ton of exercises, if she was doing them right, that would make her knees strong. So we tested it. She had good performance of the movements, and she could do the majority of the reps that go along with that assessment. So were her knees weak? I would say no. Now, they weren't max strength. There was some work to be done. I wouldn't say cut out those exercises completely, but adding more of that type of exercise or adding more weight to those exact exercises wouldn't make a change from where she was at then. Meaning, even if she did more of those or added more weight or did a variety but still similar exercises, she wouldn't have any differences in what her injury was. So we moved forward and checked her core strength, her hip strength, her calf and shin strength. And for her, hip movements, specifically lateral hip movements, so sideways hip movements, the movements themselves were non-existent in her routine, and they were weak. Performance was not on, and so the number of reps weren't there. Because if you've been in my world any length of time, I say quality over quantity. I want good, solid, quality movements as opposed to a bunch of crummy movements. So if that means you can only do 5 reps of an exercise because you lose it at 6, you lose the quality of the movement at 6, you lose form at 6, so be it. You do 5, and we work on it from there, as opposed to doing 10 crummy movements. Okay? So I use this example because time and time again this happens. We have a pain. The doctor says, well, you have weakness there. That's why you have pain. However, often the area that you have pain is picking up the slack for somewhere else. Not all of the time, but the majority of the time. And the way we know that is we test the strength. Yes, maybe it's painful. And so sometimes the pain limits strength in the moment. So we do multiple different ways to test the same muscle to check, is the muscle strong or is the muscle, or is it just, is the muscle weak or is the muscle just weak because of this position that we're in? We can do it laying down, sitting, standing, 1 leg, 2 legs, things like that. And I incorporate a variety in my strength assessment to make sure we cover all of our bases. But in general, we strengthen in the direction we go. We go forward all of the time. We rarely go sideways and backwards in our normal life. So we need to make sure those movements are included in our strength workout and in our testing. And the testing is the first thing to do before embarking on a strength workout, because if you're already strong in one area, you don't want that to be the priority of where you spend your time strength training. If somebody thinks that their quads are weak and that's what's causing their knee pain, and they go and do a lot of quad biased leg press, quad biased squats, quad biased lunges, Bulgarian squats, leg lifts, leg extensions, and things like that. But if the quad's already strong, but the glutes are weak, the hips are weak in that lateral movement, and we never include the lateral movement exercise, the hip abduction, the monster walks. If we never know that those are weak because we didn't test it, then you can do all of the leg press and squats and lunges in the world with no improvement, no changes. You can do it for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 12 years. But if you don't know for sure that is the thing that's weak, you're not going to see a change. So that's all I have for you today. If you're listening to this when it comes out, April 25th, or sometime before May 1st of 2024, I am hosting a free strength assessment workshop to do exactly what I was saying you should be doing before embarking on a strength workout. We will go through on the live call, step by step, the exact strength assessment I take all of my clients through, so that you know exactly which muscles in your core and legs are weak, so that you know where to prioritize the next couple of months for your strength training, so that you can be ready to run your Disney races for the next season. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.